I was given early access to Season 3, and of course the very first thing I did was to play Phoenix, and I've got to tell ya, she's frightening. I want you to picture for me Hela at her peak, the strongest she's ever been. That's Phoenix plus more. You know how Ultron was pre-released and he was a little weak and then he got some mild buffs and he ended up being the strongest thing in Season 2.5? Well, I'm guessing we're going to see a reverse situation of that with Phoenix because she's incredible and I would not be surprised if she ends up getting a nerf. How's it going, everybody? My name's Misum. Today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the Phoenix. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on her as I got to play her a little bit early, as well as express some concerns for her kit as she is quite strong, and I'm going to give you some of the details as you're going to see here. The Season 3 is looking to be extremely fun. I am in love with the design of this hero. Despite how much I'm saying that she's going to be really strong, I love how she plays. In the background, I'm going to do a bit of mix and matching between practice range footage so you guys can get some ideas as to how her kit works in the neutral, as well as show you some games that I was playing to give you a better idea of how well her kit actually shapes up in the game. Just note that I am not the greatest player on PC, so I definitely struggled a little bit, but obviously she's meant to be rewarding to skilled hands, of which probably many of you are more skilled than me. First and foremost, she is a lot closer range than you might expect. I think that's one of the few areas where Hela breaks free from being compared to her. Phoenix is actually a lot closer in terms of her optimal range than almost every other DPS character there is, short of like Punisher's shotgun. She really wants to be like within 10 meters or so of the target, and when she's within that 10 meters, it's possible for her to 2-tap a 250 HP target to the face, guaranteed. Barring extra healing or bonus health or so on and so forth, she is capable of absolutely crushing a squishy target that is in the unfortunate position of being within her range. Now, this does not extend to the 275s, nor does it extend to the 300s, obviously, and her tank damage is overall pretty darn good, where the big benefit to her in terms of anti-tanking is her splash damage mechanic. Now, what makes her unique is that her damage, whatever damage she does, which also includes her melee, I found out, by the way, attaches a spark to an opponent. When these sparks reach 3, they explode, causing damage to nearby targets and also attaching a spark to them. So it's entirely possible, if a tank is grouped up with a bunch of other heroes, that you can easily just chunk damage into that tank and have everything suffer in the process. And while we're at it, the probably biggest thing that makes her so scary is that she heals passively every time one of these sparks get to its 3rd stack, allowing her to entirely self-sustain if the player who is playing her is better than me, but we won't talk about that. So at longer ranges, her damage does fall off pretty severely, but her sparks do not. So she's not completely hindered by the inability to deal damage at longer ranges. Quite the contrary. In fact, most of the conflicts that you're likely to get into are going to be within those longer ranges because her mobility highly encourages her to get in and out of combat at ease. In fact, that's the next great strength that she has, is she has both a free flight mode that she can activate on a whim with a bit of a resource, as well as what I can only describe as a blink with an explosion. It is the coolest thing ever. Listen, I played Destiny 2 for a long time. This is scratching so many itches for me right now. This is an extremely cool ability that she can use while she's in her free flight, as if her mobility wasn't already good enough. Now, this does deal a small amount of damage comparatively, but it also does attach a spark, which means that with some good practice, some good aiming, and so on and so forth, it's not at all unlikely for you to either backstep an opponent and then deal a headshot for an instant splash, or to teleport through them and then whip it around and do whatever you need to do in order to get that splash off on them. I think the only major weakness that she has is her ultimate. Her ultimate is actually surprisingly low damage, despite it being extremely long range. It's a Predator missile. I mean, she's firing a Modern Warfare 2-esque Predator missile at targets, but this is shockingly not that heavy on the damage. It deals, I would say, probably around the 200 range for damage, which means that it's not going to be able to kill squishy targets by itself. It's going to take a little bit of health, but it does have some unique quirks to it, obviously, besides its incredible range and its splash damage. Of course, it'll attach sparks, but it also will uniquely destroy any constructs or summons, as well as absolutely burn any sort of overhealth, the blue health bar, of any targets that she hits, meaning that she is designed to be a direct counter to surprise, surprise, Venom, whose whole thing is of course getting a ridiculous amount of bonus health. This makes her quite good against certain ultimates such as Rocket's. She opens up a lot of doors for other heroes to get the job done, while she herself can attack from the safety of wherever the hell she wants because this thing has an incredible amount of range. So on top of her splash damage, her incredibly good close range damage, her consistent long range damage, her self-sustain, she also has a stun for some reason, and if that weren't enough, this stun comes pre-baked with a slow on the opposite side of it. This stun, as you can see, also attaches some of the sparks, and the stun itself does not last very long. I'd say it's pretty similar to how Scarlet Witch's stun ability will work, and the slow, of course, on the other side can be used to ground opponents, as all slows do. So, where does she stand in the metagame? Well, she's absolutely going to be banned, and in fact, like I stated, I would not be surprised if she ends up getting toned down and nerfed coming into Season 3 when she gets out of early access. I believe that she is incredibly strong, and there's more to it than just this, of course, too. One of the biggest reasons I actually think she's going to be nerfed is for Wolverine's sake. Wolverine already is catching bans left and right among certain tank-heavy plays, but it's going to be even worse with Wolverine's Teamup. Wolverine's Teamup with the Phoenix makes him nigh unkillable in most situations. What this does is it allows his lunge, his grab, his whatever you want to call it, to be upgraded to the burning, the Phoenix lunge. Now, when this is active, he'll passively cause damage to targets within its range. Now, this isn't very much damage, it's pretty low. In fact, I did a little bit of a test and it's barely noticeable. But the bigger thing is during this moment, during this period of time, he can passively regenerate health based on the amount of damage that he's dealing, and it's not a small amount of healing. And this is for no extra cost to his normal kit, just literally playing these two heroes together. It's not a separate bound ability, it's not a separate cooldown, it's just anytime he does what he would normally be doing, he's getting on the upwards of 200 to 250 extra health for free, just for doing damage, and likely I'm messing up these combos. So, how will Phoenix fit within the game? She will slot in beautifully into high damage comps or comps that are trying to punish teams that are deathballing together or bunching up together. She absolutely will be a counter pick play to any sort of team comps that also are relying heavily on bonus health. She pretty much directly counters Venom's whole kit with her ultimate, and also Rocket, as well as, of course, you can think of many others. Despite how much I'm saying that she's going to be really strong, I love how she plays. She plays so well. She flows beautifully into one another. Her kit is excellent. I am absolutely excited. And if you guys are too, be sure to subscribe, as we'll be covering more stuff day by day as more information as we get to play test some more stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bless your faces and deuces.